Well, Travis, since we're talking about volleyball, if it's okay, I'd like to throw in a little bit of an audible because we've got a coach on
Yeah.
line one right now, right in the middle of practice.
Practice?
And not just any
Talk about
practice,
practice.
Travis. Yeah, it is kind of late, actually, to be out there on the volleyball courts. But if you want to be undefeated, you got to put in that extra work. There's no question about it. So, kind enough to give us 10 minutes. Please welcome to the show undefeated coach of the Monroeville Lady Eagles, Miss Kendra Snook.
What's up, Coach?
Can you guys hear me?
There you are. Yeah, I think we can hear you. I might have to turn up the audio a little bit here. I'm going to go grab the clicker. But practicing kind of late tonight. Is this pretty standard for you? Did you guys like to be out there and kind of like at the game hours to make it feel like it's a live setting?
Actually, no. My daughter transferred to Monroeville this year and is a 7th grader, and they had a match tonight, so I got to play both mom and coach. So we schedule practices a little bit later on Monday night, so I can go watch her play first and watch our junior high team play, and then we get back in the gym to make sure we get a full practice in.
Being a parent takes up so much of our time. I'm not sure why we all decide that it's a great idea to sign up for these things, but it seems like you're balancing it pretty well. I mean, the 7-0 start, the extra work, it's paying off here, and I think we're already a third of the way through the season. It goes by so fast. So to still be undefeated, tell me about the weapons on your team. I've seen 5 girls, more than 25 kills, so it looks like you're pretty dangerous all over, no matter where the ball is, if you're in system, out of system. It seems like you got some girls that can throw some flamethrowers and get it done.
Yeah, right now we're really happy with our balance. So, that will probably hurt us come like individual voting, but we're all about where the team goes. No one necessarily knows who's going to get the ball. Consistently, we have 3 or 4 kids with close to double-digit kills a night, so that's good. We have our 3 juniors, which are returning. They were freshmen on our state runner-up team with Addie and Alexa Adams and Maddie Reber. And then we have a newcomer who is a sophomore who's really stepping up in the middle, Riley Platt. And then we have 2 seniors on the right side doing a great job, Taryn Tyler and Kaylee Kagerai. So all 6 of them can contribute at any time. We actually have 2 kids that dress varsity too that are dominant on JV that I think would start on most other rosters. And so we're fortunate to have them and then have them in our gym with varsity practice too, knowing that I have those as kids who can contribute at any time too.
Looks like you've got 2 really good setters too, in Addison Lyons and Casey Post. So they're handing out assists out there, like Travis hands off 20s at the Taco Bell drive-through. It's consistent, it's all the time, and they're getting it done. So what type of a luxury is that for you in the offense to have 2 different girls that at any different moment they can set it up on the net, the back line, and you know it's going to be on the money?
Yeah, right. Oh, we have not ran. So we're running a 6-2. We have not ran a 6-2 offense in a long, long time. Sometimes it's hard to have one real good setter in. We're fortunate right now to have 2 that can contribute and get those girls the ball. So Addison, ran a 5-1 last year. And this year, Casey is a freshman, so she's been able to step in. And it's just nice because then I can get the bigger block ups front with my hitters. So when we have so many hitters, if we can run that 2-setter offense, it makes things, a little bit more balanced for us. So they're both doing a good job. They're both working hard on our alumni setter, Cam Hedrick, who was real good on some of our state teams. She is actually volunteering assistant right now, and she works with them. And I think she's doing a great job with our setters. So they continue to get better, which makes our team better.
Yeah, you guys have been awesome. I mean, you've only dropped 2 sets all season, both of those coming at Western Reserve last week, which is great to be dominant like you have been. But also, in the back of your mind, like as a coach, do you kind of wish you could get some more game reps or an opportunity to be pushed to that 4th and 5th set? Or are you just kind of cool, just buzz on through most of the competition thus far?
I think we've played hard and really have pushed. I thought we had a great Galleon match. Gallion's a great team, and we came out, and I was not expecting to sweep them. And the kids are just playing hard and focused, and I think that's a great thing. Like I said, we're very balanced in practice. So, right now we're doing a drill in there 6-on-6, and a lot of times I feel that our practices are like playing another varsity team. So that I think helps us a lot. So if we can go in and sweep a team, that's great. We have a really, really tough week this week, and we know that's probably not going to be the case at all this week. And we're going to continue to be pushed. And we have a lot of tough matches in our league coming up, along with a lot of non-league tough matches coming up.
Yeah, it looks like the top of the league is really solid. St. Paul, New London, Western Reserve, and yourself. But really, you guys, you make your hay by scheduling monsters outside of the league. You just talked about the match versus Galleon. I know you got Buckeye Central coming up on Saturday. We're going to be over there checking in on that one. So of those non-league opponents, who would you say has started to develop into kind of a rivalry for you guys that you're looking forward to getting them on the schedule every year?
Well, I guess, Buckeye Central has always been kind of one with, them in our district. And I guess when it's the 4 divisions, now that it's 7, it's a little bit of a cluster. But I think them and the other team that, is a real tough match for us every year. We don't win very many of them, but it's always a great match is Mohawk. They're towards the end of our year. So I really like having them on our schedule. But I wouldn't necessarily say any of them are just like big rivals, but we have Clyde and Bellevue. That's nice because a lot of these kids play with those girls during club season, and I get to coach some of those kids from Clyde and Bellevue, and they're bigger schools than us. So I like scheduling those dominant, same size schools as us, but then to have those bigger schools on our schedule too is a nice thing.
Well, you can obviously tell it gets you ready for the playoffs and making runs all the way to state like you guys have had a proclivity for doing here lately. And speaking of the postseason, changing divisions, Travis has a question for you about the new expansion of volleyball.
Yeah, we talked about this in the offseason, but your thoughts about dropping down to Division 6? You have 7 divisions. It's more spread out. I know New Bremen is still in 6 with you guys, and Marion Local, things like that. But what are your thoughts about expanding from 4 to 7?
To tell you the truth, I think it changes divisions 1 and 2. But really, 3 through 7 is pretty much the same. There's a few less teams, but really not that many less. I think the big difference is Division 1 and 2 trying to really, get that big gap of the teams that are hundreds apart instead of with at least in the same, category. So I think it's a really good change for Division 1 and 2. And I don't necessarily think it's a huge effect on 3 through 7. It just gets some more teams the opportunity to play a little longer, which anytime you can give, these student athletes a chance to be successful and experience that type of atmosphere and all those types of things, I think that's a positive thing.
Yeah, Max Preps right now, their ratings of Division 6, you guys are 10th, and I think they have you in the whole state of Ohio is like 54th as well, so they're recognizing you guys. But ahead of them, Coldwater, St. Henry, Dalton, Marion Local, Parkway, Tenora, South Webster, New Bremen, and Acanium, the teams that are ahead of you guys. But I got 2 more questions for you. First, Brian was talking about your setters, your kills leaders, but what about your digs leader, Addie Homan, the sophomore, 138 digs, averaging 20 digs a match. Just we always talk about with Monroeville, you guys have that kind of that sweeper, that vacuum cleaner type player that will pretty much dig anything up. Is she the new one that we'll be seeing at Monroeville for the next few years?
She is the new one. So, we had Lily a few years ago, and then, Abby Pote stepped in, right after her. And actually Casey is her little sister, Abby's little sister, but, she stepped in last year and did a nice job, and Addison Homan was a defensive specialist for us as a freshman and got lots of minutes. So I think that's a huge thing to get that experience as a freshman. But she's doing a really nice job back there controlling the defense. What we're very fortunate about right now, though, is I have 3 other defensive specialists that I think are close to being just as good. So we have that depth defensively. Grace Stieber comes in, and then Rachel Fries and Maddie Miller as well. And so having those 4 not only be able to contribute in games to keep us in system and keep that ball off the ground, but to also have them in practice defending against us and, frustrating our hitters a little bit and knowing that we have to stay patient in practice, I think is huge for us.
Yeah, and it's huge when you go up against some really good teams, and like I just said, that top 10 in the state are some of the best teams, and it's that darn MAC. Once again, it's all up there with you guys. But you have a big one on Saturday. Not only is it a rematch of district play for the last few years, but it's the Delaney Game. Just explain to some of the folks that don't know the story around Monroeville why you play this game and who you play it for.
Yeah, so unfortunately, in 2021, one of our senior players, Delaney Giles, passed away during volleyball season. She was in a car accident in late June and had some complications, and had passed away in September. She was a senior for us that year, and that whole season was, real. I don't know. It was real somber but special. We kind of played for her, had fun for her, and played like Delaney would. So she's been kind of a huge part of our program, and we just don't want to forget about her. And she was a kid who would always work hard, play hard, and always having fun and always smiling. And so I think my attitude really has changed since then. The last thing I tell the kids before they go out and play every time is to have some fun. And we want to make sure that every year, we don't remember her just one day out of the year, but every year we do at least one match for her. And this is right around the anniversary of when she passed. So Saturday will be our purple out for Delaney.
Yep, and I'll be wearing purple up there as we'll have the game for you live and free right here on the OH Report. 7-0, undefeated. Like you said, you have a big week ahead of you. Just how do you keep from some of your players' heads from growing too big about this fast start?
I think they are all actually real experienced in there. But they're really determined. They have goals, and they know we didn't meet all of our goals last year. And so, we're 7-0, but they know that we have a lot more of a season. So we always talk about the next match is our most important match of the year. So right now, our most important match of the year is tomorrow against South Central. And we really try to look small picture instead of big picture and just focus one match at a time. So they have me in their ear, making sure they know that we have to keep getting better, because I honestly believe that.
Well, also with the softball team and some of your volleyball players playing there, making it to a state championship game, does that help out too with them knowing that, they have to take things one game at a time? Some of those players that, didn't get a lot of time playing volleyball, but were on the softball team as well and got to see that.
Yeah, for sure. I think, success breeds success. And I think having a lot of those athletes like Taryn and Maddie that were on the state floor in volleyball, and Abby at that time too, helps them be successful in the softball, knowing and having that experience and not letting the nerves set in and all those things. But now having that in another sport, that's pretty remarkable. And they just want to keep building on that. And, Taryn is one of our captains, and, she's a huge leader for us, and continuing to want to get better, continuing to lead by example. And once you've tasted a little bit of success, you want to get back there. And I think that's what all these kids want to do, is they want to just keep improving, but they know it takes hard work. They know nothing's going to be handed to us. We have a hard road in front of us, and in order for us to experience any of that success we've done in the past, that it's one step at a time now, and to continue getting better each day.
Well, there's definitely no better flavor than success, I would say, in the sports world, except for maybe sprinkles on top of some ice cream after a victory. But that's because of success, I suppose, here, Kendra. So it comes full circle. And it seems like you've had a lot of it going on out there in Monroeville, not just volleyball, softball, like you mentioned. Football is doing great. So success breeds success. And we're looking forward to being a part of this one coming up here on Saturday. So thanks for the invite over there. And we'll have Travis come crash the party. Thanks for joining us, Coach.
And no problem. Thanks for having us. Look forward to seeing you guys on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, what a cool thing they have going on for Delaney, the Delaney Game, as you called it. So there she is, and anytime that you can honor somebody, and I think she put it very perfectly, it's both, it's somber and special all at the same time, but you need to keep memories alive of people that were a part of your life and were special folks. And obviously, that's what they felt like Delaney was for this program. So to honor her in this way, to wear the purple shirts, and to make sure that it's not just one game per year or one day that they're thinking about, or they're talking on the locker room and bringing up her past memories. Kudos to Coach Snook to keep her spirit alive, and obviously it's been helping. She's having an impact year after year, getting to state Final Fours and such.
Yeah, there's the picture of 3 of the GOATs from volleyball at Monroeville: Grayson Yoder, Maddie Daniel, and Hannah Lyons as well, the 3 for Monroeville. It started that streak because that year they ended up going to the Final Four. We had that for them. And then the year after, a state championship appearance where they finished as runner-up. Last year, tough one, dropped to a very good Buckeye Central team. But once again, I mean, this may be one of the most stacked teams they've had since they went to state.
Yeah, and that is saying something like our producer just shouted out, because they've been really good. But they've had the new ones, as you mentioned, and like she said, the new Lily Whites to come in on that back line. The generational type of players, where a post got a younger sister coming in now and filling the lineup. So we'll have Monroeville on some action here coming up on Saturday. Then we get them again a little bit later in the year in a big match at Cary. So
and then we'll have them during the tournament run as well. That district's going to be fun again. But it's just crazy that all the teams that they had to run into in their tournament path in the last few years still in the same division.